Real estate reality check. What 30 years in Fond du Lac, Wisconsin, actually taught me about small town property investment. What's up, property investors and future homeowners? Today, we're diving deep into a market that most real estate influencers won't touch because it's not sexy, it's not booming, and it doesn't make for flashy before and after photos. But sometimes the best real estate opportunities are hiding in plain sight in places like Fond du Lac, Wisconsin. I've been tracking this market for years and recently came across insights from someone who's lived there for 3 decades. What they shared completely changed how I think about small Midwestern real estate markets. So, buckle up because we're about to break down the real numbers, the real challenges, and the real opportunities that most people completely miss. Let's start with the brutal truth about the economy because this directly impacts your property values and rental demand. Fond du Lac used to be a classic manufacturing powerhouse. Mercury Marine and Giddings and Lewis were the anchors. But here's what happened that every real estate investor needs to understand. Just last year, Mercury Marine cut 300 jobs. That's nearly 10% of their workforce gone overnight. Now, before you click away thinking this market is doomed, hold on. This is exactly the kind of market shift that creates opportunities if you know how to read the signs. The median household income sits around 58 to 62,000 in the city, with the county hitting closer to 73,000. Yes, that's below national average, but here's the key insight most investors miss. Lower income doesn't automatically mean bad investment. It means different strategy. The unemployment rate runs between 2.5% to 4%, with the county on the lower end. Jobs exist, but they're not the high-paying manufacturing jobs of the past. This creates a specific tenant profile that smart investors can capitalize on. We're talking about service workers, healthcare employees, and people who need affordable housing options. Now let's talk population trends because this is where most real estate content gets it wrong. Everyone assumes small Midwestern towns are dying. The reality in Fond du Lac is way more nuanced. The population has been mostly stable over the past decade. Small growth followed by slight dips. This isn't Milwaukee or Madison growth, but it's not Detroit decline either. Stable population means stable rental demand. It means you're not fighting a flood of new construction driving down rents, but you're also not dealing with mass exodus tanking property values. For buy and hold investors, this kind of stability can actually be gold. Here's where it gets interesting for real estate investors. Housing affordability compared to the rest of Wisconsin is a massive advantage. You get more house for your money, but, and this is crucial, the appreciation isn't rapid. If you're looking for quick flips and fast equity growth, this isn't your market. But if you're building a rental portfolio focused on cash flow over appreciation, pay attention. Think about the math. Lower purchase prices mean lower mortgage payments. Stable rental demand means consistent income. Lower property taxes than major cities mean better cash flow. The key is buying right and managing efficiently. But let me give you the infrastructure reality check that could impact your investment decisions. Like most Midwestern towns, Fond du Lac has aging systems. Water main breaks happen, boil water advisories occur. Roads are in constant repair cycles thanks to brutal winters. As an investor, this means you need to factor in higher maintenance reserves and potential utility disruptions. Speaking of winter, this is where location within the market becomes critical. Lake Winnebago creates its own microclimate. Some areas get double the snow of towns just 10 miles away. For rental properties, this means higher heating costs, more maintenance, and tenant preferences for certain neighborhoods over others. Smart investors research the microclimates within the market. The political climate is shifting, and this matters for real estate investors more than you might think. City council meetings that used to be routine now turn heated around budgets and development. This creates both challenges and opportunities. Zoning changes, tax policies, and development incentives can all shift based on political wins. But here's what excites me about markets like this. Downtown revitalization efforts are happening. Local businesses are working to bring energy back. When you can get in early on revitalization efforts in affordable markets, the upside potential is significant even if it takes years to materialize. The cost of living advantage creates interesting rental arbitrage opportunities. People can afford more space for less money, which means demand for larger rental units. The 15-minute commute across town means location flexibility that doesn't exist in major metros. Let me break down the real opportunity here for different investor types. For cash flow investors, the combination of low purchase prices and stable rents creates solid returns. For long-term wealth builders, the stability provides consistent equity growth even if it's not explosive. For investors looking to diversify away from hot markets, this provides geographic and economic diversification. The school system, while facing budget challenges, still provides solid education. This matters for family rental demand and long-term property values. The sense of community creates tenant stability that translates to lower turnover and vacancy rates. Here's my takeaway after analyzing markets like Fond du Lac. Small Midwestern cities are in transition, but they're not dying. They're reinventing themselves. The industrial powerhouse days are over, but that doesn't mean the real estate opportunities are gone. It means they've changed. The key is understanding what you're investing in. This isn't a growth market, it's a stability market. It's not about rapid appreciation, it's about consistent cash flow and long-term wealth building through buy and hold strategies. Would I invest here? Absolutely, but with the right strategy and realistic expectations. I'd focus on affordable single-family rentals in neighborhoods with good access to the remaining employers. I'd build relationships with local property managers who understand the market dynamics. I'd factor in higher maintenance reserves for weather-related issues. Most importantly, I'd go in understanding that success in markets like this isn't about timing the market or finding the next hot neighborhood. It's about buying cash-flowing properties, managing them well, and letting time and stability do the work. The biggest mistake I see investors make is either completely avoiding markets like this or trying to apply big city strategies that don't work. Fond du Lac represents thousands of similar markets across the Midwest. Understanding how to invest in one teaches you how to invest in all of them. So, what's your take? Are you sleeping on stable Midwestern markets while chasing appreciation in overheated coastal cities? The opportunities are there for investors who know how to look. Sometimes the best real estate investments aren't in the sexiest markets. They're in the steady ones where you can quietly build wealth over time. That's a wrap on today's deep dive into real Midwestern real estate. If this changed how you think about small town investing, let me know. And remember, the best investments aren't always the obvious ones. Sometimes they're hiding in plain sight in places like Fond du Lac, Wisconsin.